Did you know that, according to the National Institute on Aging NIH, nearly 50% of women over the age of 50 experience urgency or frequent urination in the morning, even when they have not had too much water the night before? But what is more surprising is that not everyone realizes the true cause often comes from a small mistake made at the beginning of the day. I have worked with thousands of women during my more than 20 years in the field of aging wellness. And what troubles me the most is that many of them believe this condition is simply caused by age, but the truth is, it can sometimes be as simple as starting the morning the wrong way. Dr. Lisa Mosconi, a leading researcher in brain and hormone health, has shown that certain habits in the morning, even if they seem harmless, can interfere with the neural signals that control the bladder. This can lead to feelings of urgency, discomfort, and disruption to daily quality of life. If you have ever started your morning with that kind of discomfort, and stay with this video, because sometimes one small change can help you feel calm and at ease from the very first hours of the day. Where are you watching this video from? Leave a comment below to let us know. If you find this information helpful, do not forget to subscribe and share it with someone you care about. And please stay until the end of the video, because I will be sharing a simple but powerful tip that can help ease that morning urgency in a natural and gentle way. Imagine a very familiar kind of morning. You have just woken up and still feel a bit sleepy. Outside, the sun has not yet risen, but inside your body, the urge is already there, pushing you to hurry into the bathroom. What makes it more concerning is that this does not happen just once. On some mornings, you find yourself returning to the bathroom 2 or even 3 times within the first hour, and it leaves you feeling drained, sometimes uneasy or frustrated, as if your body is no longer fully under your control. I once listened to a retired teacher share her story. She said, "I barely had time to make tea before I had to run to the bathroom. Then, right after making my coffee, I had to go again. It got to the point where I was too afraid to take a morning walk in the park because I worried I might not be able to hold it." It may sound minor, but for women over 50, this is something that truly affects their confidence and independence in daily life. So what exactly is happening inside your body? According to urology experts, in the morning, the nervous system that controls the bladder is often more sensitive than usual, especially during the perimenopausal or menopausal stages. At that time, female hormones are no longer stable. The body's ability to retain fluids and regulate the nerves that manage urination also decreases. If you start the day with a strong cup of coffee, a rich tea, or a very salty breakfast, your body may respond with a strong urge to eliminate fluids, putting extra pressure on your bladder. It does not stop there. One common habit that often gets overlooked is holding in urine after waking up. Many people like to stay in bed a little longer or rush into the kitchen, forgetting to listen to the signals their body is sending. This can lead to a disruption in bladder reflexes and make it harder to control over time. According to a report from the American Urological Association, AUA, factors like caffeine, salt, and irregular morning routines can increase the risk of urgency and fluid regulation issues in older women. The good news is, once you understand what is triggering your bladder each morning, you can make changes. And sometimes, just one right choice at the start of your day can bring you a greater sense of comfort, control, and ease for the rest of the morning. So what is the next step? Together, we will explore why, after age 50, the bladder becomes more sensitive, and how small things can have a big impact on how you feel. When you reach the age of 50, your body begins to go through subtle changes that can have a wide impact on your overall well-being. One of these quiet changes happens in a place many people rarely pay attention to: the bladder. There is something many women over 50 do not realize. The urinary system, especially the ability to control urine flow, is not just about the bladder alone. It is directly influenced by the central nervous system, the hormonal system, and the muscles in the pelvic area. According to urology expert Dr. Ellen Wine, female hormones act like coordinators that help different parts of the urinary system work in harmony. As menopause begins, hormone levels drop significantly. This affects the elasticity of the bladder muscles, the ability to sense fullness or emptiness, and the brain's ability to send accurate signals to the bladder. Have you noticed that you need to urinate more often when you feel anxious or when you cannot sleep well? There is a scientific reason for that. When the nervous system is in a state of alert, such as stress, confusion, or sleep disturbance, the bladder may receive false signals. This can create an urgent need to urinate even when your bladder is not actually full. In addition, when the body is mildly dehydrated, which often happens in the morning after a long night without water, the bladder lining becomes more sensitive. And if you start the day with a drink that has diuretic effects or a salty breakfast, the bladder may become even more irritated. A study from the National Institute on Aging (NIH) found that women over 50 tend to experience a decrease in pelvic floor muscle tone. This affects the ability to hold urine for long periods. It is not necessarily a sign of illness. It is a natural part of aging. However, if not properly supported, it can lead to a daily feeling of discomfort and loss of control. So here is the question. If these changes come from your own body, is there anything you can do to support yourself? The answer is yes. And in the next part, we will explore which morning foods and drinks may quietly be making bladder urgency worse. You may be surprised to learn that what you eat and drink in the morning can have a direct impact on your bladder, especially after the age of 50. When the body becomes more sensitive to certain stimulants, some foods and drinks that you believe are good for starting the day can actually disrupt the urinary system, leading to urgency, loss of control, and a decline in your daily comfort. One of the most common culprits is caffeine, whether it is strong coffee, concentrated tea, or energy drinks. All of them can stimulate the bladder and confuse the signals sent from the nervous system to the brain. This is especially likely to happen if you consume caffeine right after waking up, when your nervous system is not yet fully stabilized. According to a study published in the Journal of Urology, caffeine can increase urinary frequency and reduce bladder control in women over the age of 50. It is not just caffeine. Salty foods, such as cold-cut sandwiches, instant soup, or salty cheeses can also create a false sense of fluid retention in the body. When sodium levels rise, the kidneys must work harder to flush out the excess salt. This puts extra pressure on the bladder and makes you feel the urge to urinate earlier and more often. Many people do not realize that a salty breakfast may be the reason they visit the restroom more frequently in the morning. In addition, acidic fruits such as oranges, lemons, pineapples, or tomatoes can irritate the lining of the bladder in some individuals. If you eat them on an empty stomach, the irritating effect can become even more noticeable. There is also one small but important detail. Drinking beverages that are too cold or too sweet in the morning can make the bladder more sensitive. Many women have the habit of drinking iced tea or cold juice as soon as they wake up. While it may seem refreshing, this can lower the temperature in the lower abdomen and disturb bladder function for several hours afterward. As you can see, It may be just a strong cup of coffee or a bite of pickled vegetables in the morning, but it can lead to discomfort that lasts all day. This does not mean you have to give up all your favorite foods. It simply means you need to choose the right time and the right way to combine them in a way that supports your body. So, if you want to start each morning with a healthier bladder, where should you begin? The answer will come in the next part, with 4 simple principles to help you start your day gently and without the stress of urgency. Now that you understand why the bladder becomes more sensitive after the age of 50 and which foods may be triggering discomfort each morning, it is time for a clear and simple plan to support your body. The good news is, you do not need to make dramatic changes. Just start with these 4 easy principles, and you will begin to feel more ease and control each morning. Principle 1. Drink a glass of warm water before anything else. Right after waking up, allow your body to warm up from within by drinking a glass of warm water. Warm water helps awaken the digestive system, soothe the bladder, and reduce unnecessary spasms. When you drink warm water instead of coffee or strong tea first thing in the morning, your nervous system sends calmer and more stable signals to the bladder. This habit also gently flushes the kidneys and urinary lining after a long night, lowering the risk of irritation. Principle 2. Move gently or practice deep breathing for 3 to 5 minutes. Instead of rushing into chores or sitting down for too long right after waking up, take a few minutes to walk around the house. Stretch your body gently or practice deep breathing. It may seem simple, but according to urology expert Dr. Kevin McVary, activating your circulation and nervous system early in the day helps reduce uneven contractions of the bladder muscles. The more relaxed and calm you are, the better your bladder will coordinate with your brain. Principle 3. Eat hormone-friendly, bladder-soothing breakfast. Choose foods that are easy to digest, not too salty, and free from caffeine. Oatmeal and whole grain toast, chia seeds, boiled eggs, or steamed vegetables are all excellent options. If you enjoy milk, choose unsweetened versions and drink it warm. Avoid sour juice, heavily salted foods, and fried items. A gentle and balanced breakfast not only stabilizes your bladder, but also keeps your blood sugar and blood pressure steady throughout the morning. Principle 4. Use the restroom on time instead of holding it in. Many people delay going to the bathroom in the morning because they feel busy or think it is not urgent yet. But the truth is, when you hold in urine for too long, the bladder becomes more sensitive, easily irritated, and harder to control over time. Set a soft reminder if needed, and create a daily rhythm where you respect your body's signals as something important and sacred. When these 4 principles are practiced regularly, many women report that they no longer feel the same urgency or discomfort as before. They are able to enjoy their mornings fully without worry or rush. However, your body does not run on food or habits alone. Your emotional state in the morning also plays a big role in how your bladder functions, and that is exactly what we will explore in the next part. One thing that modern science is making increasingly clear is the strong connection between emotions, the nervous system, and the bladder. This is especially true for women after the age of 50, when hormone levels begin to shift and the body enters a natural adjustment phase. Think back to the mornings when you woke up feeling tense, anxious, or weighed down by heavy thoughts. Did you notice that your body felt more tired? Your breathing became shallow, and your bladder seemed more sensitive. You might have felt the urge to urinate earlier than usual, even before drinking much of anything. This is not just coincidence. According to a report by Dr. Kevin McVary, a urologist specialist in the United States. The system that controls bladder function is strongly influenced by parts of the brain called the prefrontal cortex and the basal ganglia. These regions manage emotions, regulate behavior, and help control urination signals. When you feel anxious, the brain tends to send excessive signals to the bladder even when it is not yet necessary. This is a reaction of the sympathetic nervous system, which can make you feel as if you cannot hold it any longer, even if it has only been a few minutes since the last time. In addition, prolonged stress causes the body to release cortisol, a hormone that affects the brain-kidney-bladder axis. High morning cortisol levels can disrupt your natural body rhythms, throwing off the usual patterns of bladder activity. This is why one of the most common but often overlooked mistakes is starting the day with a negative emotional state. It does not have to be something serious. Sometimes, just looking at bad news on your phone or reading a message that causes you to worry is enough to trigger a stress response inside the body. So what can you do? You do not need to practice deep meditation or perform complex rituals. Just begin your day with a quiet moment. It could be standing by a window and taking a few deep breaths. It could be writing down 3 things you are grateful for this morning, or simply smiling at yourself in the mirror and saying, "This body is doing its very best." Remember, your bladder is not just a physical organ for elimination. It is also deeply affected by the way you experience the world each morning. When you are at peace, your body runs more smoothly and gently. And that is the gift you can give yourself every single day. As we come to the end of today's journey, you may now understand that morning bladder urgency is not always a sign of aging or a serious medical condition. Sometimes, it is simply the result of a small habit repeated each day without much thought. A strong cup of coffee right after waking up, a salty breakfast, skipping a trip to the bathroom because you were busy with chores, or simply opening your phone to read negative news before your mind is ready. These things may seem harmless, but over time, they can make your bladder more sensitive, harder to control, and leave your body in a state of quiet tension. The good news is that you can absolutely make a change. You do not need to do anything dramatic. Just drink a glass of warm water before your coffee. Take a few deep breaths before starting your day. Choose gentle, soothing foods for breakfast, and your body will thank you in subtle but powerful ways. Remember, caring for your bladder does not begin with medication. It begins with how you treat yourself each morning. Choose gentleness instead of rushing. Choose to listen rather than ignore. And choose a small action today so that you do not feel regret tomorrow. If you found today's content helpful, please subscribe to the channel and share this video with someone you care about, especially those who may be quietly struggling with morning discomfort without knowing why. We will continue to share more videos about foods, exercise, and natural tips to help women over 50 live with greater strength, balance, and joy every day. And if you are trying even one small change tomorrow morning, leave a comment below. Because true health often begins with the smallest things